Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating spiritual philosophy. It's all about a journey, a path that takes you from a life where your destiny feels totally fixed to one of ultimate freedom and, enlightenment. All right, let's start this cultivator's journey. So here's how we're going to break it down. We're going to follow the path of what's called a cultivator through 5 key stages. We'll start with, where we are right now and go all the way to the ultimate goal. Think of this as our roadmap for the whole trip. Okay, first things first. Where does a journey like this even begin? Well, it starts with a pretty big idea that for most people, life follows this predictable path. It's almost like we're planets stuck in an orbit. And this is where it gets really interesting. The core idea is this massive contrast, right? On one hand, you have the unawakened life, stuck on that fixed path, super predictable, just like that planet in its orbit. But then, there's the awakened life, and that's where you completely break free. Suddenly, destiny is entirely in your own hands. It can change and shift in a million different ways at any second. And this slide, wow, it really shows you what's at stake here. The teaching says that the qualities we live by, how we act, literally determine our path in the whole cycle of reincarnation. It's like we're all on this cosmic ladder. Are we climbing up or sliding down? Things like love and benevolence, they lift you up towards these celestial realms. But on the flip side, confusion and wickedness, well, they lead you down, way down into some pretty difficult states of being. Okay, so if that's where we start, where are we actually going? What's the final destination? Well, the way these teachings describe the path is, honestly, it's just beautiful. The language they use is incredibly powerful. They frame this whole thing as a kind of secret quest. It's a deliberate, conscious move towards a state of, light, auspiciousness, eternity, and freedom. What's really key here is that it's about appreciating the world around you, for sure, but never getting so attached to worldly things that you stop your own journey. And it's not just an external path, it's also a journey of the mind. The idea is that your thinking literally breaks free from all its usual limits and barriers. Your consciousness can just soar. It can explore these boundless celestial realms, totally free from the usual stuff that weighs us down, things like fame, money, or even getting tangled up in heavy emotions. Now, this next part is absolutely crucial. This path goes beyond all the earthly labels we use to define ourselves. We're talking nations, ethnicities, religions, political parties, even family ties. The goal is to reach this universal state of being where you're just detached from all that material stuff. You can look at all the world's vanity and just have this kind of calm, knowing smile. So how do you even walk a path like this? It's not about what you do on the outside. No, it demands this deep, profound inner transformation. It's all about aligning your heart with the universe itself. The core concept here is this idea of, I guess you could call it radical empathy. The cultivator's heart isn't just their own anymore. It expands and becomes a vessel for, everything, for all of existence. And this alignment, it happens on a few different levels. So get this, the cultivator's heart aligns with the ups and downs of all people. It connects with the life force in all of nature, the trees, the flowers, the animals. It resonates with the sheer vastness of the cosmos, with the wisdom of gods and Buddhas, and just with this deep, gentle compassion for every living thing. And the ultimate goal of all this alignment is to reach a state called wuji, which means the infinite. This is where your heart actually merges with the Tao, the fundamental flow in nature of the entire universe. It's this incredibly serene state that's beyond life and death. Your heart is totally free from all attachments, and you finally find your true self by becoming selfless. But, reaching a state like that isn't easy. It involves some pretty advanced trials, and we're not talking about physical challenges here. These are tests of your mental and spiritual flexibility. They require you to use paradox and think in ways that are totally unconventional. For example, the teachings use classic logic puzzles, like the famous barber's paradox, to really push the limits of your thinking. You've probably heard it. A barber shaves everyone who doesn't shave themselves. So, does he shave himself? Think about it. If he shaves himself, he's breaking his own rule. But if he doesn't shave himself, then he fits the description of someone he's supposed to shave. It's a total catch-22, right? And the point isn't to find the answer. The point is to let that contradiction kind of short-circuit your rigid, logical mind. Or how about this one, the arrow paradox? This one messes with our whole idea of motion and time. So a flying arrow, right? At any single frozen instant in time, that arrow is in one specific spot. It's not moving, it's stationary. So if it's stationary at every single instant, how on earth does it ever actually move from point A to point B? Again, these aren't just fun little brain teasers. They're meant to be tools for liberating your mind. And all this leads up to 3 celestial cultivation games, which are designed to push your thinking way beyond what you think is possible. Game 1, make a dead twig grow roots and sprout. Game 2, you're in total darkness, total chaos, you have 0 resources, what do you do? And Game 3, you're alone on an endless plain surrounded by thousands of hungry wolves, how do you escape? The goal here isn't to come up with some clever practical answer. It's to help you realize that maybe nothing is truly impossible. There are just things our minds haven't figured out how to do yet. Okay, so after going down this incredible path and facing these mind-bending trials, what's at the end of it all? What's the final state? What does it actually mean to achieve the ultimate goal of this entire practice? Well, it comes down to one word: selflessness. A complete and total attainment of it. It's about truly, deeply understanding that the individual self, the ego that we protect and polish all the time, is really just an illusion. It's like a character you're playing in a giant game. Real freedom isn't found in trying to control that character perfectly. It's found in just letting go and playing along with the game. And the philosophy lays out this really stark choice for us. When you're living with a self, life feels like a cruel competition, right? The world seems full of traps and thorns. But when you live without a self, that exact same life completely transforms. Suddenly, it's an interesting journey, a fun game. The world opens up and looks like it's full of clear skies and bright possibilities. That is the core transformation we're talking about. So how do you know you've gotten there? Well, there are some pretty clear signs. You are completely unselfish and selfless. You have no fear of death, maybe even a kind of longing for it. You start to see everything in the world as perfectly appropriate and fair. All your activities turn into spontaneous games. And finally, you have no worldly attachments. You're ready to depart at any time. And we're going to end on this final piece of wisdom from the text. And it is so beautifully simple, but at the same time, so incredibly profound. It's a guide for living a truly free life. Ready? Do what you should do, and how others act is their business, not mine. Just think about that. Act according to your own nature and just release yourself from that massive burden of trying to control or judge what everyone else is doing.